afternoon. Good afternoon,
guys. Last full day in the Bariloche area.
Woohoo, it sure is.
Yeah.
This trip has flown by.
Yeah.
Today, we're on a little day excursion, the one we wanted to do yesterday. We've come to Colonia Suiza.
Yeah, I remember a few weeks ago you had mentioned this place, and so it's cool to be visiting. We just had to take a couple little local buses to get here.
Yeah, very easy to get here. And well, this is a small little village. It was founded by immigrants from Switzerland, so it's got a really cool vibe in terms of the architecture, and it's a pedestrian friendly town. You can just walk around everywhere because it's so small. Lots of things for tourists to do.
Eat, you drink, and you just kind of wander around, and there's also some really good shops too. So it's a fun outing. I guess you could do it for a half day, a full day.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're just gonna see what we can find while we're here.
Take it easy, enjoy. That's the plan.
That's the plan.
By the time we reached the village of Colonia Suiza, aka Swiss Colony, it was already time for lunch, so our first order of business was to find some food. We followed our noses and they led us to this cozy chalet. The food is here. Of course, the first stop of the day had to be food. What else would you expect from us? So we're eating at a restaurant called Aire Sur, Southern Air, but they do more like German Swiss food. The dish I got, it's called papas Rösti, and it's basically shredded potatoes with onions and bacon. Took a big bite of that when you weren't looking. I like it. It's kind of like a pancake, flat, crispy, nice and tasty. I missed another big bite there.
You tried your wine?
Cheers to you people watching. We got a red wine, Malbec. We went for a little bottle because we are planning to walk around today. We don't want to be all lethargic.
Exactly. Small bottle.
And Sam got the goulash with spätzle, which looks really good. This is another favorite of mine. Little hand-rolled noodles. Look at that goulash, looking hearty, looking stewy, looking steamy.
Can't wait to try it. You were right about being super tender. I love the sauce it has too. So much flavor, packed with flavor. Have another bite.
Did you get some sour cream in there?
It's melting though. So tasty. I'm so hungry. We're having a bit of a later lunch. What time is it? It's 1:30. Normally have lunch around noon. So bring our appetites today, guys.
We're thinking of doing a few food stops today. There's just so much to try in the town.
Let me try yours since you had a bite of mine.
Yeah, it's like a crispy pancake.
You really taste the onions, don't you?
Yeah.
It's really good.
I was expecting it to be a little thicker, but it is tasty. Dessert time.
Dessert time.
It was included with your main.
Was, what a nice surprise. So it comes with, is it apple cake with cream? Oh, those apples are so smooth. And there's tons of cinnamon, which I love. It's got a bit of a crumble texture on the top of it. Really tasty and a nice surprise. So we didn't know it was included. So guys, we had our lunch. Sam is really working hard to get that shot. Oh yeah, get those mountains. Lunch, like I was saying, the total came to $17 US, and that included two mains. Sam's main came with a dessert. Fancy schmancy. I will say, like, the portions aren't massive. They were smaller than I was expecting, but you do get bread at the start of the meal. And well, yours came with dessert, so not bad. The quality was good.
It was good,
yeah, I'm kind of glad that we didn't have an enormous portion because we'd be craving a siesta instead of wanting to walk around. Yeah, plus so there are lots of like little kiosks and cafes and dessert shops, so we can always get a little nibble afterwards. Indeed. So when we arrived in Colonia Suiza, we learned that the best days to visit are actually Wednesdays and Sundays during high season, when the town prepares a special dish called Curanto. We had unknowingly arrived on a Monday, missing the big cookout by one day. Curanto is a dish that's prepared by digging a hole in the ground, covering the bottom with hot stones, and then adding a mix of seafood, meat, potatoes, and vegetables. It's basically like a giant outdoor pressure cooker, and people come from far and wide to try this specific dish. So that's something something to keep in mind if you do decide to visit. With no Curanto on the menu, we spent our day walking up and down the main street and visiting some artisanal shops. But since it was a non-fair day, many of the places in town were closed. Wandering and strolling is how we ended up in front of the elf village. Truth is, we had no idea what the elf village was all about when we first set foot in there, but it turned out to be quite entertaining, especially if you come with a vivid imagination. We were led into the forest by our guide, who taught us to identify all sorts of trees and mushrooms, but then he brought us to meet the creatures of the forest. We met all sorts of beings, like the gridmen, who are able to become part of nature, leprechauns who like to guard their pot of gold, and mischievous elves who like to steal trinkets from the home. There were also trolls, witches, and forest fairies, all living in this very forest. And then we met Edgar, who may very well have a future career on the runway. Work it, Edgar! Oh. No! We just finished visiting the elf village. Actually, we met way more creatures than just elves. There were gnomes and trolls and creatures that were half elf, half animal, half elf, half tree.
And leprechauns.
Well,
a leprechaun.
A leprechaun. But yeah, it was kind of a fun attraction. The only thing is that the stories they tell you are all in Spanish. So if you don't speak Spanish, you might miss out on all the elf stories. But yeah, kind of like a fun attraction if you're visiting as a family or with kids.
Just under $5 US,
Yeah.
and the tour was like just under an hour, I think. So.
Yeah, I think it was like 50 minutes.
Yep.
And we got to feed goats at the end of it all.
That was the highlight. That was fun.
There you go.
There you go.
And now we are going down to the lake. Apparently there's a little beach area around here. We're gonna see what that's all about. But so far, it's been a very enjoyable day here at Colonia Suiza. It's a very peaceful place, just dirt roads. Everyone gets around on foot because the place is so tiny. Lots of food options, very unique architecture. It's very German, very Alpine style. So yeah, those are some impressions. Did you bring your swimming trunks?
You know, someone just dipped their hand into the water. You were saying it was like glacial water, basically.
It's cold.
It's cold. So there's a couple kids who've gone in, kind of tiptoeing, but most people are just out here working on the suntan, to be honest.
Yeah, no one's actually swimming.
No one's swimming. No.
Very telltale.
I bet Togo would go in here.
Sign.
Togo would go in here.
Togo would love it.
He'd love
Could
it.
you imagine?
He'd be jumping in.
This would be like his Rocky's road trip all over again.
Exactly.
We then did another loop around town and thought, you know what? We're hungry. So off we went in search of a little something something.
IPA time.
IPA time. So we've worked up a bit of an appetite. We've been wandering around now for 2-3 hours since lunch.
I'd say, yeah.
At least a couple of hours. And we're coming here for an early dinner. But this particular place specializes in craft beers. They had IPA and they had porter. So I decided to go for something a bit more refreshing.
Nice. It matches your hair.
Yes, it's
on
rojo.
camera.
It's the red color. It's very refreshing, and I'm so thirsty. So, ice cold beer is just what the doctor ordered. Dinner has arrived. And what are you having, Audrey?
Dinner is served. So I went for the mountain potatoes. They're kind of like fried potato wedges.
Yeah.
with cheddar cheese, creamy cheddar cheese all over. Just a little snack slash dinner before we head back into town.
Guys, I got a burger, and I'm just trying to think when was the last time I had a burger. Is this our first burger in Argentina? Maybe?
Could it be?
It could be.
That would be kind of shocking.
Yeah. So lift the hood. So we've got bacon, cheese, nice big patty, and then under here, caramelized onions. We've got some pepper, tomatoes, and some lettuce. So
Loaded.
it's loaded, and we're gonna share this.
We're gonna share, cutting it down
cutting it
the middle.
down the middle.
Ooh,
And there it is.
Looks good.
Yeah. That's a great burger. Really nice meat, delicious bacon, cheese, and then I love the caramelized onions too. It gives it a bit of juiciness, a bit of kick. It's a really good burger. You're gonna like it.
And that was our day trip to Swiss Colony. This is a very small village that can easily be visited in half a day, though it is also possible to stay overnight and do some camping or rent one of the few cabins. Our visit was short and sweet, but we enjoyed what we got to experience in a few hours. For any of you thinking of visiting, don't forget, if you want to eat the famous Curanto, visit on a Wednesday or a Sunday. Or if you want to experience a sleepy town almost all to yourself like we did, then any other day of the week is fine. That's all for today, and we'll see you guys in the next video.